everyone. Today I am going to make a spinach cheese omelet. I've been on an omelet kick lately, and I've just been wanting to make different kinds of omelets. And I've also been trying to get more vegetables into my diet, so I thought, spinach cheese omelet, that really does sound good. So I've got some spinach, baby spinach, and I have my pan, and I'm going to put, it is a non-stick pan, but the spinach needs to be sauteed first. And if you're making an omelet and you want vegetables, you really are going to have to saute the vegetables first, whether it's onions, green peppers, red peppers, yellow peppers, spinach like this, any vegetable that you want to put in your omelet, you've got to cook it first. So I'm going to I've got about a tablespoon of just regular oil. You can use, this is regular vegetable oil, but you can use olive oil or whatever type of oil that you like. So I'm going to let that warm up for just a few minutes. And while that's warming up, switch it all around, I'm going to chop about a half a cup of baby spinach. Okay, I've roughly chopped up about half a cup, and I'm just going to pour it into the pan. And I think I'm going to cut down my heat just a little bit because it's sizzling just a little bit. But I'm going to just saute the spinach until the leaves are wilted. And this, obviously, my pan is very warm, so that should not take very long at all. And this is an omelet for one person. Obviously, if you're making a bigger omelet, or if you're making more than one, you want to do more spinach. Okay, so this looks good. This looks like it's sauteing very, very well, and it looks like it's very wilted. So, okay, so now I'm going to cook my eggs. I've got some grade A large white eggs. I've got a little bit of butter that I'm going to put in the pan. I usually do use butter, even though this is a non-stick pan. I've got a little bit of milk that I'm going to add. You can add water, you can add milk. Some people don't like to add anything, but it does make the omelet a little bit more fluffy if you do add either water or milk. So I'm going to do a 3-egg omelet. So I'm going to take 3 eggs and put them, don't do that. Break them and put them in the bowl. As we know, nothing is always perfect in the kitchen, but we're gonna give it a go. All right, so let me get, okay, so I've added my milk, and I'm just gonna stir the eggs vigorously until everything is well combined. And I used about 2 tablespoons of milk in this. I do have my pan. I used the same pan that I used to saute the spinach. I've just washed it out, and I put it back on the burner. I've got it about medium-low heat. So that looks really good and combined. So I'm going to use about a tablespoon of butter. Okay, I'm going to use about a teaspoon to a tablespoon. Not too much. You don't really need a whole lot, but just a little bit more. Okay, so swish that around. Make sure it's all melted. And this, like I said, this pan is non-stick, and I think I've said this before in some of the other videos that I've published that you can use a pan that is not nonstick, but you will need oil. And you will need butter. The butter will keep the eggs from sticking to the pan, and the oil will keep the butter from burning. So you will need those things. Okay, I think my pan is good and warm, so I'm going to put the egg mixture right in the pan. Okay, my egg is cooking, so I'm just going to switch it around a little bit. You want it to start to set, and it looks like it actually is doing that very well. Eggs, if your pan is nice and warm, eggs don't take a whole lot of time to cook. So looks like it's setting up really nicely. So I'm just going to push the inside or the outside towards the end. And the egg that is not cooked will swirl around to the outside of the pan. So I'm going to just keep doing that. And I've kept my pan about medium heat. You don't want to cook it too fast, because it'll burn, obviously. But this is coming along very nicely. So when you push the egg inwards, as it cooks more, you want to tip your pan to get the egg that is not cooked to come to the outside. So I'm going to do that a little bit more. Okay, so my egg is really nice and it's really just about there. So I'm going to take the sauteed spinach and I'm going to put that on 1/2 of the egg. And, I don't have a whole lot of spinach. You can, cook a little bit more, but this should be good. And then, so I've got that. Then I'm going to add my cheese to the eggs and the spinach. And I'm being very liberal with the cheese. I think I shredded way more than what I need. You really only need 1/3 to 1/4 of a cup, 1/4 to 1/3 of a cup, excuse me. But I've got way more than what I needed. So I'll let that sit for just a minute. And then I'm going to make sure my egg is really good and cooked on this side. And then I'm just going to flip it over. Yes, now that looks good. Now I'm going to transfer this to a plate because it will continue to cook when it's on the plate. But that looks really, really good. Okay, I'm transferring my omelet to the plate. For some reason, this is always the hardest part for me, but there we go. It really does look good. And I'm going to put a little bit of more cheese to garnish the top. Just a little bit more. I'm sorry about my camera. I just don't have a very good camera, but it's going to get better. And there you have it, a cheese and spinach omelet. And I'm going to cut into this and take a little bite. Okay, I've got a little knife and I'm just going to cut into it. And it does look good. And I'm going to grab a fork and I'm going to take a taste. All right. The moment of truth. It's nice and cheesy. That really, really is good. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I'm really getting good with making omelets. So I've got something special planned. I bought a few things, and I'm going to be making egg sandwiches next, and hopefully you'll stay tuned to that. Hopefully you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, give me a like, leave me a comment, subscribe, and as always, bon appetit.